However, those pieces may be melted, molded, and made into something more exquisite than they were in the beginning by the appropriate people. That's your tale. The things that have been broken in your life will not stay broken. Only you will be able to carry it through these nights, as it will be reforged into something more powerful and dazzling. You could question why God said nothing. Absence is not silence. Silence is often a tactic. Heaven sometimes silences itself, so you can find the answers that are already ingrained in you, just as a teacher does when you're taking an exam. When no sign emerges, you have been learning to walk by faith, to trust your spirit, and to listen to the whisper rather than the storm. The mystery is right here. The things that hurt you have also turned into your distinguishing characteristics. People can't convey the tales you carry. You have suffered in ways that others cannot comprehend, and you have authority because of that history. You won't talk like someone who has just read about the valley. You'll talk like someone who has been through it and made it through. In the aftermath of brokenness, even today, you are becoming stronger. The ability to not only stand, but to remain unflinching while others collapse. The fortitude to confront storms with the calm eyes of someone who has previously seen much. The darkness is frightened by your might because it knows you won't bend. Your shattered nights are not to be hated. They weren't penalties. They were authorizations. Authorization to expand. Permission to recover. Permission to change into the person who is ready to take on a bigger role. Your narrative doesn't stop with the night of shattered items. It is the ground on which your future grows. Remember this reality, chosen one. Your vessel's cracks are not defects to be embarrassed about. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. There are locations where God's light is evident. Additionally, people won't see you as weak when they see you. They will see imperfection revealing splendor. That is your calling's contradiction. Your injuries serve as your eyewitness. With wounds that speak of survival and knowledge carved by fire, you are emerging from the darkness. You are now indestructible because of the same thing that once shattered you. Selected one. There comes a time when the things that have been accumulating inside of you become too much for quiet to hold. That's when your bones start to burn with holy frustration. You have stood in the shadows, suffered delays, and borne wounds. Something more profound is stirring now, however. It is the crackling of destiny as it erupts into flame, the awakening of purpose. You're not just surviving anymore. They're burning you up. It's not the type of fire that devours you. The fire is the purifier, the sort that removes the untrue and leaves just the everlasting. Imagine gold in a furnace. The temperature rises. Under pressure, the metal screams, but contaminants are carried away after rising to the surface. That's what you're going through at the moment. You can tell there is a fire at work by the pressure you feel. This exact incident was originally recounted by the ancient prophet Jeremiah, announcing in his prophecy scroll, verse 9 of chapter 20, "His message burns brightly in my heart. I felt a fire go out in my bones. I'm tired of suppressing it. Yes, I'm unable to." That's your narrative, isn't it, Ming? You have made an effort to conceal your brightness and to become smaller in order to ease the discomfort of others. However, it is no longer possible to conceal the word, the summoning, or the fire. Your soul burns Luda every time you remain mute. Heaven propels you forward each time you take a step back. Consider the pulling back of a bowstring. The stress becomes almost intolerable. Do you think the string will break? However, the arrow will fly further once it is released the more it is pulled. You are the selected arrow. The stress before the launch is merely the result of your life's setbacks, delays, disappointments, and unanswered prayers. And before you know it, the release will arrive, and you will fly toward the goal that has been set for you from birth. Your cooperation with this fire has power. When Earth speaks, heaven answers. For this reason, I'm asking you to make a statement in the comment section right now. Make me shine. This is more than simply words in M's opinion. Consider it a prophetic gesture. You are announcing to heaven that you will no longer stifle your flame as you write it. Remember that fire does not apologize for blazing. You are declaring, "I choose to be set ablaze. I choose to burn with purpose. I choose to carry the fire that will not go out. And as you declare it, expect the atmosphere around you to shift. It shines without asking permission, and a heavenly light is carried by you, chosen one. That darkness is unquenchable. What lights your path today will likewise illuminate the way for those who are still wandering in the darkness. The fire is only getting started. Furthermore, it cannot be halted once it begins. Selected one, I'll be straightforward. The fire inside you has always been flickering. However, it has now gotten to the point where it must be seen. This fire is not passion gone wild. It is a divine mission. It conveys guidance. It entails self-control. You are not requesting a casual spark when you say, "Light me up." You are requesting complete availability, complete yielding, and complete surrender to the heavenly flame. Consider Moses' experience at the burning bush. The shrub was not consumed by the fire. It did, however, burn bright enough to draw notice. This holy flame causes you to accomplish just that. It doesn't ruin your identity. It shows your true self, your voice, your scars, your individuality. In the fire, everything is lit. You become noticeable because God Himself shines through you, not because of your own power. The underlying reality is as follows. Fire spreads. People around you can't stay the same when you let yourself burn with passion and calling. You will inspire bravery in those who are afraid. You will inspire trust in those who are drowning in uncertainty. You will rekindle hope in those who had given up. This is why responding rather than resisting is so important. You are not alone in the flame. It's for the people that are involved in your life. Don't shrink back, then. Don't wait and don't apologize. This is the end of the season of indecision. The igniting moment has come. Believe it, live it, and speak it. Light me up is more than just a remark. It's a covenant. Heaven hears it. Earth will see it. And once you completely enter the fire that is waiting for you, your life will never be the same. Selected one. There's a purpose to the fire that has been brewing within of you. Without direction, fire may spread and devour. However, fire that is strategically directed becomes unstoppable. Heaven doesn't take your fate lightly. A secret plot is gradually coming to fruition. Selected one. Pause for a moment and let this truth sink in. You're not like the others, and deep inside, you've always known it. The struggles you've endured, the tears you've concealed, the nights you've prayed with no reply. None of it was in vain. Every moment has shaped you, prepared you, and set you apart. That's why people feel something different when you walk into the room. It isn't just your presence. It's the mark of heaven resting on your life. Being close to you isn't casual, it's a privilege. Proverbs 4 verse 7 says, "Wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all thy getting get understanding." This isn't just a verse, it's your present season. The storms you've weathered have sharpened your vision. Where others see only problems, you see patterns. Where others falter, you discern. This wisdom is your crown. Many can't see it, but its power is undeniable. Think of a key maker. Each cut into the metal looks like damage, but those precise cuts give the key its power to open doors. Without them, no door would unlock. That's you. The locked doors, the betrayals, the silent nights weren't destroying you. They were shaping you into a key that could open doors others cannot. Let me tell you about one selected individual. She was overlooked, betrayed, and shut out. She thought her life was falling apart, until the very struggles that had cut her deepest became the exact shape needed to unlock her destiny. What felt like destruction was actually protection. Elon Musk's move to protect you from disaster mirrors this truth. Sometimes what looks like delay, restriction, or even rejection is actually heaven's way of sheltering you from harm while shaping you for greatness. You're not being crushed. You're being crafted. You are the key, and the door you're about to open will not just free you. It will unlock futures for others as well. They were ignored for years, wondering why chances were lost. Pals were promoted, doors kept shutting, and silence was their constant companion. However, as they waited, they developed their ability to listen more intently, see with spiritual eyes, and separate fact from fiction. The hush ended one day. A door that was only for them opened, and it all made sense. Wisdom's classroom was the waiting room. Right now, the same unfolding is taking place in your life. Selected one, don't back down. People will evaluate you negatively if they don't comprehend your trip. They can even feel jealous of you. However, keep in mind that their being in your presence is a privilege. Because of what you carry, not because of who you are by yourself. You stabilize chaos. You bring light into the dark. You serve as a reminder that the devout still get crowns from God. Your journey is not arbitrary. It's planned. Intention is weaved into every aspect. Even the errors, setbacks, and disappointments are only strands in a bigger picture that you are yet unable to completely comprehend. But the pattern will be exposed eventually. Then you'll see why things had to be this way. Now, this is a call to action as well. Don't allow this word stay mute if it speaks to your soul. Spread the word so that someone else who is lost might find their way back to strength. Tap like to show that you decided to walk with courage and wisdom. Sign up to ensure you don't miss the stream of uplifting messages that are intended to keep you going. And if this message resonates deeply with you, post a comment with the number 111. Let it serve as your prophetic proclamation that you choose to live as one set apart, that you choose to ascend, and that you choose knowledge. This is only the start. The best is yet to come, and the narrative is far from over. Listen, chosen one. You are entering a new rhythm where you will be positioned and protected by knowledge. Everything around you is changing. At first, it's subtle, like the tide changing. Momentum is replacing what seemed like resistance. What seemed to be locked doors would soon be shown as divine rerouting. Because your destiny is independent of the systems of the world cannot define you. Think of yourself as a light in a pitch-black space. As soon as the flame is ignited, type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Shadows move. That is the purpose of your existence. Disperse the darkness wherever you go. The brightness will attract some. No one will be able to ignore it, although some will find it unpleasant. Because of this, a chosen one's presence is never inconspicuous. Prayers have been answered in you. No one ever dared to pray out loud. Thus, raise your head, walk steadily, and accept the crown that is awaiting you. You're not concealed. You're getting ready. And soon, opportunity will meet your preparedness in a manner that makes no question. Like this selected one, you are picked for this particular moment. You are all too familiar with the burden of seemingly unending evenings. There were nights when your mind toyed with questions that had no answers, and quiet became louder than thunder. I refer to this time of year as the night of broken things. It's where friendships fall apart, where vows are broken, and where you're left with pieces you didn't ask for. But your power is really created here in this terrible in-between. Every restless moment has served as a lesson. In the secret book of your fate, every tear has written its own chapter. The suffering you've endured is proof of shaping rather than desertion. Similar to clay in a potter's hands, you have been compressed, sculpted, and perhaps crushed before being strengthened and rebuilt. Even if they are dispersed, your life's pieces are not wasted. God is a mosaic artist who creates beauty out of what is broken. In David's holy hymns, the psalmist once wrote, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and delivers those who are crushed in spirit," according to Psalms 34, verse 18. Poetry is more than just these words. They reflect your narrative back to you. When you felt most alone, that's when God was closest to you. His proximity was the unseen thread that kept you together during the nights when everything crumbled. One story comes to mind. The path taken by a chosen one who had experienced treachery so severe that it seemed like a knife piercing the soul. Their most ardent critic became their closest friend. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. And the reverberation of once truthful words turned into arrows pointed directly at their heart. It felt intolerable at first. However, the selected one found the secret power of prayer amid that gloom. The sort that waits with shaky trust and doesn't expect answers right away. The same thing that fostered perseverance was that betrayal. And eventually, what seemed to be devastation turned out to be guidance. Your shattered nights have been helping you with that. You could not have grown resilient in comfort if they hadn't been sowing the seeds. Perseverance is a language that comfort never imparts. Only hardship can do that, and you are proficient in the one you have selected. Now imagine broken glass on the floor. It seemed unsafe and pointless. Chosen one, let your heart rest. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are right on time because you are walking by heaven's clock, and heaven's clock cannot fail. The refining fire of waiting is unlike anything else you will experience. It strips away illusions, exposes hidden weaknesses, and tests every part of your soul. Waiting is not passive. It is active fire. It burns away what cannot remain so that only what is eternal endures. The longer the fire, the purer the gold, chosen one. The delay is not meant to humiliate you. It is meant to transform you. The refining fire comes when you believe you are ready. But heaven knows there are still fragments of fear, pride, or distraction clinging to you. In this furnace of time, those impurities rise to the surface so that they can be skimmed away. What emerges is a vessel fit for glory, strong enough to hold what God is about to pour. We are reminded through the prophet Zechariah. Chapter 13, verse 9. This third I will put into the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name, and I will answer them. I will say they are my people, and they will say the Lord is our God. And this is not simply ancient poetry. It is the pattern of heaven. Silver is not beautiful when it first comes from the earth. It is covered in rock, dirt, and imperfections. Only through heat does its brilliance emerge. Likewise, your delay is not evidence of rejection, but the process of purification. Imagine a potter holding clay on the wheel. At first, the clay is shapeless, spinning endlessly. Pressure is applied. Water is added. Hand press a mold. The clay might feel the stretch, the reshaping, but it has no idea that the master potter is forming a vessel that will one day hold priceless oil. You're that clay. The delay is the wheel. The process is the pressure. And God's hands are steady. I recall the story of a woman who felt her life was wasting away in long seasons of disappointment. Every application denied, every prayer delayed, every friendship fading. She could not see what the fire was doing until one day she realized she was no longer afraid of rejection, no longer to pat for approval. The fire had burned those fears away. When the opportunity finally came, she stood strong, unshaken, unafraid. Her delay had made her unbreakable, chosen one. You must understand shortcuts cannot produce what fire alone can give. Ease cannot shape depth. Comfort cannot birth character. Only waiting, only testing. Only fire can do this holy work. If you could see what is being burned away, you would thank God for the flames. The refining fire also reveals your true treasures. In waiting, you discover what you cannot live without. For some, idols are exposed. Dependence on people, on status, on control. For others, hidden strengths, rise patience, endurance, vision, waiting unmasks both your weakness and your strength so that when your moment comes, you will stand in clarity. Picture gold refined 7 times. Each time the heat grows more intense. Yet each time the gold becomes more valuable, the impurities flee, leaving behind purity that cannot be shaken. That is what your strange delay is doing. It is refining you again and again until the reflection of God can be seen in your life. Do not despise the fire. Fire is not the end. Fire is the doorway. Think of the burning bush before Moses. Fire consumed the bush but did not destroy it. In the same way, your waiting season may feel consuming, but it will not destroy you. Instead, it will reveal the voice of God calling you into greater purpose. And when you step out of this refining fire, others will see the difference. You will not look like someone who simply survived. You will shine like one who carries heaven's glow. The delay will no longer be remembered as wasted years, but as the season where your foundation was purified and your strength was forged. Chosen one, the fire is not against you. The fire is for you. It is the hidden ally that ensures when your blessing arrives. you will be ready to hold it. Without the refining fire, the weight of destiny could crush you. With it, you will stand firm, unsharkened, radiant. So, walk through this season with courage. Endure the refining. Embrace the process and trust that the God who allowed the fire is also the one who watches it closely. Not a single spark touches you without his awareness. And when the fire has finished its work, you will emerge more than ready. You will emerge unstoppable. Do not mistake silence for absence. In the seasons when delays weigh heavy, when prayers feel unanswered and days stretch long, you may imagine you are forgotten. Yet the truth is this: angels are on assignment. Heaven is never still. Even when you cannot see movement, the unseen is alive with activity, aligning what must be aligned, shifting what must be shifted, holding back what must not yet come. Daniel once prayed and waited 21 days for his answer. He felt the delay as though heaven was distant. Yet the angel who appeared explained that the answer had been sent immediately, but forces of darkness resisted. Reinforcements came and the message broke through. The delay was not because God ignored him, but because spiritual battle raged beyond his sight. So it is with you, chosen one. Angels are working in realms your eyes cannot reach. The ancient words recorded in the book of Psalms chapter 91:11 remind us, for he will command his angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. This is not a poetic comfort only. It is a declaration of reality. Your path is not empty. Even in waiting, guardians stand at your side where you thought you walked alone. The ground has been covered by unseen wings. Think of a great stage before performance. Curtains are drawn. The audience grows restless. But behind the veil, stage hands move silently, placing props, adjusting lights, ensuring every detail is perfect. The audience may see nothing, but the work is urgent and precise. Your life, too, is behind the curtain right now. Angels adjust, arrange, and prepare so that when the curtain finally opens, what unfolds will be perfect in its timing. Chosen one, understand this. Your prayers set angels into motion. Every sigh, every whispered "help me" carries weight in heaven's court. Even when no answer has appeared, the command has gone forth. You may be in day one of waiting while the breakthrough is already marching toward you. Do not confuse stillness with inaction. I remember the testimony of a woman who narrowly avoided a fatal accident. She hurried into obligations, pushed doors open, and ended herself exhausted in a wilderness that was not intended for her. Afterwards, she said, "He mistook delay for denial. I thought God had forgotten me, so I tried to force his hand. But when I surrendered, I realized the waiting was protection." Her tale serves as a mirror. You too could be more protected than you realize. Selected one. Human deadlines do not dictate divine time. When you panic, it doesn't panic either. It also doesn't rush when you ask it to. It arrives when it does, just like the sunlight. Furthermore, nobody can stop it. Watching the horizon may cause you to lose sleep, but whether you are prepared or not, daylight will come and flood the world. The dawn of heaven is linked to your second breakthrough. Allow me to speak from the heart now. I encourage you to travel with me more deeply if my words have moved you, if they have provided you with clarity or serenity during this waiting period. The purpose of this channel is to continuously broadcast messages such as these. Messages that serve as a reminder to those you have selected that there is yet hope. I never ask you to do anything. Think about lending your support to this effort. As if you were lighting a solitary candle in the middle of the night, click. This flame joins yours. And as you share, collectively, the darkness recedes. It's similar like sending a message into the sea. You have no idea whose hands it will end up in, but you will provide hope to someone who is lost in silence. It's like setting up a tent in the middle of nowhere when you subscribe. You will thus never be left outside in the dust when the wind of God's word blows through. Instead, you will always be protected within. Additionally, consider it a bridge-building exercise if you are ever moved to give. Whether you donate or not, each stone broadens the path, assisting more chosen ones to pass over into the light they have been seeking. Recognize that you are chosen, loved, and seen. God has your future under control. Those who would want to join in spreading this light are only invited. One picked Father. Heaven's clock is lining you up with beauty throughout the delay you experience. Don't hate it. Take your time. Have faith that the exact thing that crowns you tomorrow will be the thing that is suppressed now. Additionally, keep in mind that you are not going alone as you proceed. Heaven's timetable, which you are following, is unfailing. And when the time for release eventually arrives, it won't arrive subtly. Rather, it will emerge like the sun rising after a long night. Every delay will seem like gold threads woven into your tale when you look back on it. In the light of God's time, everything will make sense. The barred doors, the sleepless nights, the weighty questions. Hold on, selected one. It's worth the wait. Time's creator has never been late, and he won't start with you. The same delays that irritate you conceal a secret. They're not arbitrary. They are affirmations. Your waiting season's peculiarity is a foreboding indication that you are not forgotten, but rather selected. Because you're not broken by the wait. It comes to mark you. This existence is unique, it says. We cannot speed this path. The value of this destiny is too great to be tossed together. No, you may not yet be aware of it, but there's a message in your delay. Heaven is telling you that everything is aligning. Silence does not imply absence. Slowness is not the same as neglect. The delay serves as evidence that my timing is effective for you. Consider Noah's conversation with God over the construction of the ark. It took some time for the deluge to occur. While the sky remained clear, he waited while others made fun of him and hammered wood. His patience, however, was evidence of God's message. The indication, not the contradiction, was the delay. The ark would not have been ready if there had been no waiting. There wouldn't have been salvation if there hadn't been any waiting. Selected one. It operates like this. Heaven is not denying you because of the delay. Heaven is telling you that something bigger than you could have ever dreamed is on the horizon. It would have already occurred if it were normal. It is unusual simply because it is delayed. In the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 3, God's voice thundered. Because there is a moment for the unveiling. It foretells the end and, despite its persistence, will not turn out to be untrue. Await it. It won't be delayed and will undoubtedly arrive. Furthermore, impatient people should not use these terms. For you, the person who feels stuck in odd time, they are for you. Your prayers are not being ignored by God. He is keeping them until the designated hour, at which time their discharge will be more audible. Expand your horizons and achieve more than you ever imagined. Think about this. It takes time for a diamond to form under the surface. Carbon is converted to brilliance with time and pressure. You would only be holding coal if you interrupted the process too soon. What transforms coal into wealth is the wait. The one you have selected is being forced into greatness. Consider an orchestra practicing their instruments before to a performance. The crowd becomes agitated as they only hear snippets of sound. It seems disorganized and disorganized. However, everything comes into harmony when the conductor takes over. There was order in the waiting. It was getting ready. The conductor is going to raise his hand, even if your life may seem like cacophony right now. I remember one selected individual talking about how she longed for marriage for years, questioning if heaven had forgotten about her wish. But as she waited, her faith, intelligence, and ability to heal from previous wounds all increased. She was prepared for marriage and service with her spouse when the time came. There was no penalty for the delay. The alignment was prophetic. You have the same odd delay. Choose one. It is proof that you're not like the rest of us. Rejoice if it seems like others are hurrying ahead while you're still waiting. It is evidence that heaven is taking special care of you. Those who wear costly crowns are not hurried by God. The next thing I want you to do is this. Enter a state of prophetic concord. Superstition is not what this is. It is an alignment declaration. Enter 888 in the comment section right now. Why 888? Because it is the quantity of overflow and fresh beginnings. There are hints of the limitless God in it. The God who increases what is given up. Your sense of waiting is not emptiness. The womb of plenty is going to be opened. By writing 888, you are declaring, I will not despise the delay. I will trust that what is forming in silence will emerge in fullness. I believe my waiting will birth abundance and new beginnings. Each number you type becomes a prophetic signpost, marking your faith and sealing your agreement with heaven's timing. So hold this truth close. Strange delays are not accidents. They are the very evidence that God's hand is on you. They are the rhythm of heaven pulling you into alignment with something greater than you can yet see. And when the appointed time arrives, the delay will vanish like mist in sunlight. Learn from the stillness. Allow the wait to show you what shortcuts couldn't. Additionally, you won't be the same person that entered the waiting room on the day of the reveal. You will seem as a sophisticated, glory-worthy vessel. Additionally, you are changing the environment in your life when you say, I embrace waiting. Those statements are interpreted as submission in heaven, because giving up encourages speeding up. When God reveals his purpose, what seems like years of lost time will be redeemed in one instant. Remind yourselves of Joseph. His time in jail was not forgotten, but when Pharaoh promoted him, they became the very evidence of his loyalty. The same will be said of your delay. Your public witness will be your concealed loyalty. Selected one. You may disarm the adversary by waiting and loving them. Frustration is the fuel of darkness. However, you mute all lies when you affirm your faith in God's timetable. You demonstrate that you are not burned by the fire by standing higher and unflinching. You are purified by it. You are holy in your waiting. Accept it and see what happens when doors won't open. Self-blame is the first reaction. You question if God rejected you in some manner, whether your faith was too tiny or whether your prayers were ineffective. But there is much more to the reality. Often, closed doors serve as heavenly barriers. Refusing at this time might be heaven's way of protecting you from something that could have ruined your future. Consider it this way. Not all doors are intended for you. Certain doors result in short-term comfort but long-term loss. Others seem as benefits, but are really traps that sparkle with possibility. You would wander into fakes that seem to be favors, but really include chains of compromise if every door opened as soon as you knocked. In his generosity, God keeps certain doors barred to protect you rather than punish you. The old terms used in chapter 16 of Proverbs. Verse Lena, humans plot their path in their hearts. However, the Lord determines their course. You may also imagine, plan, and knock on doors. However, the Lord determines the course you will take. He doesn't just refuse. It is thoughtfully planned to match you with things that will not only keep you, but also bless you. Take Paul's missionary missions as an example. Scripture informs us that the Spirit of Jesus forbade him from entering Asia. He must have felt confused since the door was closed. However, he was sent to Macedonia, where a revival occurred and the gospel made its way to Europe. A continent's awakening was sparked by a locked door. The same is true for you, the one that finished before it started. Failure is not shown by a task that never came up or by a move you planned but were unable to execute. These are indications of divine filtering. What seems good but is bad for you is filtered away by God. Imagine a shepherd guiding sheep to grazing land. The shepherd directs the flock to a smaller pathway when they see a broad path and rush ahead. Why? Because the broader route leads to hidden cliffs. It seems like there is a delay in the shepherd block. In actuality, however, it is rescue. The shepherd's hand has steered you more times than you realize, and you are that sheep. I think of a young guy who was looking for a way into the music business. All of the auditions were unsuccessful. All the doors closed securely. He doubted his value until years later, when he realized that conducting church worship, not performing, was his actual vocation. His voice, which had been shielded from abuse, became a tool for healing. His dream had not been robbed by the locked doors. It had been perfected into something timeless. Also, closed doors put your faith to the test. When doors swing open, anybody may worship. Faith develops, however, when you choose to believe even in the face of shut gate. Heaven's quiet invites us to trust that God's nay is just as reliable as his yes. There's more. A closed door may sometimes be delayed because the chamber beyond is not yet ready. You could be ready. However, the people, the time, and the conditions must coincide. The location is not. You would enter a room incomplete, and the blessing would crumble under your own weight if God allowed you to pass through too soon. Picture the preparation of a banquet hall, including setting the table, lighting the candles, and arranging the food. However, you will be seated at an empty table if you arrive too soon before the preparation is finished. Waiting at the closed door guarantees that the feast will be ready when it opens. Therefore, don't hate doors that don't open. Don't allow resentment to make you feel ignored. A sealed door's quiet is not a reflection of your worth. It is a notification that you are being protected from something better. Selected 1. Keep this in mind. Every divine nay bears the germ of a bigger yes. And you'll see why all the incorrect doors remain closed when that yes arrives. Not late, but exactly on time, you will enter the door of destiny. And you won't enter regretfully when the time comes. Knowing that the wait was never in vain, you will proceed with assurance. All of a sudden, every door that has been closed will make sense, like the parts of a jigsaw fitting together. The route that you first doubted will turn out to be the ideal one. Be patient while you wait, because the proper door won't just take you ahead when it swings open. It will raise you over your wildest expectations. The clock on your wall does not move like the one in heaven. Heaven measures time by alignment, by the completion of invisible processes, by the unfolding of divine purpose, and by the minutes and hours, calendars, and deadlines that you use to measure time. This explains why you often sense the conflict between the pace of heaven and the impatience of earth. Heaven responds, "Because now is too small for what I am preparing. You see, only your present hunger." However, God sees the entirety of your destiny when you question, "Why not now?" Before the bread is cooked, a youngster could scream for it. However, the parent is aware that half-baked bread would do more damage than good. Mercy is the burden. The Ecclesiastes book, chapter 3, verse 11, declares, "In his time, he brought beauty to everything." Additionally, he has imprinted eternity in people's hearts. But from start to finish, no one can comprehend what God has accomplished. Stop. Your compass is that verse. It demonstrates that beauty is not lost with time. It defines it. An early blooming flower withers in the winter. An early picked fruit has a bitter flavor. Under strain, the destiny that was hurried ahead of heaven's timeline crumbles. But when the time is right, beauty that cannot be planned by a human hand appears. Consider the sea's tides. They enter and exit according to the moon's attraction rather than human will. Before launching, ships wait for the tide to rise, because they would only be grounded if they pushed ahead at low tide. That ship is you. Your tide is on its way. And when it rises, you will make more progress in a single instant than you would in years of hard work. One time, a chosen one became tired of waiting.